Hi guys, this is Bill from Spencer1984.com with another update to the Lone Wolf McQuade Dodge Ramcharger. So I'm going to be starting off with the interior this week because I went through and I plugged all the holes for the roll bar. Now, it is going to have a roll bar, but because I'm moving the sides in, I won't be able to use the mount holes for it. So I just went through, plugged all these. I made a video showing the technique for this. I'll stick that up in the corner. And so now I need to go through and cut off the excess material. And because these are nice flat surfaces, this part is super simple. And there. Now I just need to go back, hit this with a sanding stick, and then I'll go around, do the same to the other 7 nubs sticking out. And so that's looking pretty good. Tops of the fenders cleaned up really nice. I'm actually a little bit surprised that they cleaned up so well, but not any filler needed whatsoever on these. The floor, I didn't get as much done. I didn't want to ruin the carpet texture, and they're a little bit out of the way anyway, so just kind of ignored those. But tops of the fenders look pretty good, so I'm happy with how that turned out. On the bottom, I kind of did the opposite. I left the nubbins up in the fender wells, but I cleaned off the base where you can see it easier. And also went through, sanded off all of the copyright information that was here on the deck. I think it had copyright, the year, monogram, all that stuff. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. So now it's time to bring in the chassis. Give myself a little more room here. And did a lot of cleanup on the chassis this week. The biggest thing is I did cut off all of the exhaust system. I wasn't sure if I was going to or not, but talking to a couple other modelers, and basically the consensus was, yeah, get rid of it all. So I went through, carved it off. Don't really even see a whole lot of it left over. They generally did a pretty nice job of casting it so that most of it would disappear. This was the only thing that I really had to replace, because that cross member was missing a huge chunk out of itself for where the muffler was showing up. So all I did was I took a piece of I-beam. I didn't have any T-stock that was the right size, but I had some I-beam that was the right size, got that cut to length, then cut off one of the sides, glued that in place. And I think that works out pretty well. Also filled in some of the worst sink marks at the 4 corners. 2 up front here weren't really too bad. You see a little bit of filler right there, but those weren't too bad. Cleaned up the parting seams. Yeah, and then I got it ready for the engine to go in. I cleaned up the cradle here where the old engine had been mounted, and then I added the transmission mount to the skid plate there. So put it together, and that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to make it permanent. And for that, I'm going to be using my Tamiya extra thin cement. Got nice clean plastic on both sides. So I'm just going to go through and hit all of these floor mounts. Overall, it's a pretty decent fit between the frame and the floor, but it's especially nice here at the chassis mounts. It's a nice snug connection, so this ought to work just fine. And little dot here where the frame goes over the rear axle. Oh, shift it a little bit. Come on. Fortunately, you have a second or two to work with this. Now, I'm going to set this aside for a few minutes, but we'll be back to it before the end of the video. Close this up. And so, moving on. So I didn't do anything further with the body yet, but I did get my grill problem solved. I got this from another modeler. He was collecting some parts for his 85 Ram project, but that ended up being semi-abandoned. And I believe he got this from a few screws loose. You can see it's not an exact fit, but it's pretty close. I can definitely make this work. And I need to remove the side trim there, so I got to do a little bit more body work anyway, so that's not a problem at all. And then with the grill, I also got the correct dashboard. So this is the early, I think, 81 to 85 dashboard. But this will work out great. It's an automatic. It's got the steering wheel with the column shift. So this is exactly like what McQuade's truck was. And I do need to do a little bit of work at the ends to make it fit the door panels, but really, that's a whole lot better than I was expecting going in. And then the last thing is I got the engine painted and assembled. So I got the rest of the block assembled, got the valve covers on, got the transmission pan on, and then got everything painted up. And I did drill out, I don't know if you can even see it on camera, but I did drill out for ignition wires. And then if you look inside, you can see I had to add a little bit extra support structure for the transmission. But it's pretty solid though. I'm not worried about that coming off. And having done some test fits to the frame, that shouldn't be a problem. The transmission is within 0.5 millimeter of the original transmission, so it should line up with the transfer case just fine. And so overall, I think this is coming together okay. Let's see, next up, I'll get the frame painted, get the interior pulled together, get that painted, get the side trim taken off the body, get the grill fit, and then the body should be ready for paint. Then get the blower, the headers, the belts, and the wires on the engine. Also, just a quick aside, really do like that Tamiya liquid cement on bare plastic. So, yeah, made some decent progress. Not the fastest progress, but it's coming along. I will have another update for you all next week, so you can check back then, and thanks for watching.